today on an all-new Dr. Phil. Most commonly called revenge porn, private images. Caitlin found out that videos of her, one she says she had no idea was being taken, had been posted without her consent on a porn site.
I'm on over 45 websites, 5 other countries. It's ruined my entire life.
Your own mom called and asked if you were doing porn.
That was the lowest point for me.
Not only was I going to take the site down, I wanted to destroy this guy's life.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Well, believe it or not, most American adults have taken and even sent nude pictures or videos before. Now, I'm not going to ask you how many here have done it, but whether for themselves or a loved one, as a provocative surprise, it's becoming something that a lot of people just do. But when it comes to taking or sending intimate pictures of yourself, you really need to tread carefully, because there are unscrupulous people you may have once trusted, like an ex, who will take your most personal materials, sometimes filming you without you even knowing it, and then reveal them to the world. It's most commonly called revenge porn. But what it really is the non-consensual dissemination of intimate images, and more than 26 million people have had their pictures or videos posted online without their consent, often together with their real names and identifying information for anyone and everyone to see. This is an epidemic that doesn't get talked about as much as it should, and it could happen to you and certainly to your teens. Take a look.
It was an emotional moment for actress Misha Barton as she reveals she is a victim of revenge porn. The actress claims an ex-boyfriend she was in love with is now trying to sell a sex tape that was made without her knowledge.
I came forward to fight this not only for myself, but for all the women out there.
The FBI is investigating the photo hacking that targeted Hollywood celebrities. Dozens of intimate photos of major female stars were stolen and posted online.
A woman in New York City is suing to have her name deleted from 3 of the internet's biggest search engines. That's Google, Yahoo, and Bing. She says that an ex-boyfriend posted explicit video of the couple online in an act of revenge. Now, you cannot search her unique 4-word name without pulling up references to this so-called revenge porn.
Center of a case of revenge porn is out on bond tonight. Nassau County deputies charge 46-year-old McCall Dolman with sexual cyber harassment.
It's been hell. I've not been able to really go anywhere or trust anyone because I don't know who I'm really talking to because of fake accounts.
She says Dolman created more than 20 phony Facebook profiles just to harass and embarrass her.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Revenge porn has got to go!
People should really understand the impact and the magnitude of cyberbullying, cyber harassment, and revenge porn. It's affecting 1 in 10 people under the age of 30, and most people are afraid to speak out.
Well, Caitlin says that 2 years ago, she found out that 2 videos of her, one she consented to making, the other she had no idea was being taken, had been posted without her consent on a porn site, and it had been up for over a decade before she even knew about it. The effects were devastating.
I've been exploited on Pornhub for the past 12 to 13 years. There are 2 videos of me online, uploaded by somebody that I was friends with for about 10 years. I have not been able to get justice because there's no laws in my state. I've now turned to advocating and doing this full time because it's changed my entire life. I have PTSD, anxiety, depression, an eating disorder, and a sleeping disorder. I was very suicidal at first, but I've had a lot of help. And there's a lot out there that we can offer to survivors that should know, that they're not alone.
Caitlin, first off, I want to thank you for being here because it would be easier not to.
Right.
Tell me how you found out these videos were online, because I want people to realize this could be going on and they don't even know it.
Right, and that was pretty much my case. I found out May in 2020, I was over a friend's house and my two friends said, hey, remember so-and-so from high school? And I'm like, well, of course I do. He goes, oh, he has an account on Pornhub. And I just looked at my friends. I'm like, I'm on there. And they're like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I said, I agreed to one video. I know he didn't delete it. I know he didn't. I was 18. I'm 32 now. A week later, on May 28, 2020, my friend sat me down and they said, yep, we searched and the first two videos on his account are of you.
Okay, and when you say you agreed to it, let's be real clear about this. You didn't agree to make this for dissemination.
It was for him.
This was for him. He was going to go to college. He said, I'd like to have something to remember you by, blah, 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 blah. Yep. But you didn't agree that, hey, you're going to become a distributor. I want to make this, I agree to make this for you so you can send it out to the world.
Right, nope, not at all.
And these were titled with your name. And
that's the one with the most views, the one that's been distributed the most, and the one that's made him the most money.
When you looked this up and saw that it was there, and actually it went beyond that one website, it had been picked up other places, and you say it averaged almost 1 million views, all the places that it had been.
Over 5 million.
Yeah. How did that hit you? What was your reaction?
I'm on over 45 websites, 5 other countries, and so far I counted up to 5 million and I stopped counting. Because you have to. You have to stop looking. You have to stop researching. Sometimes it's hard not to. I had to deal with losing friends. I had to deal with losing family members. I quit my job recently to advocate for this because it's ruined my entire life. I'm now, 2 years ago, I thought I was going to kill myself, and now I'm on Dr. Phil. So I think I'm doing something good here.
Yeah, well, that's a lot better than thinking about taking your own life, because that's giving your power away to that person that exploited you, and that's the worst possible thing you could do. So I'm glad you got through that moment, and I'm damn sure glad you're here.
Thank you.
Instead of that. Caitlin says she met with a detective. There are no laws in her state, and they said there's just nothing you can do.
Not really. I called lawyers, I called hotlines, I got laughed at, I got told there's nothing we can do in Massachusetts, you know, there's no laws here. So I was like, I'm not going to give up. This is still wrong. This is human rights. These are my rights. This is my privacy. My privacy and safety were stolen from me because of this person, because of whatever his reason is, and it doesn't matter. And I did confront him the day I found out, and he admitted to it. So I have his admission. I went to court. The case was dismissed this year because there wasn't enough, I guess. There's no laws, and the way that the report was written up didn't have enough, I guess, details.
Well, if this is offensive to your sensibilities, raise your hand. Anybody that looks at this and hears it understands what happened, but people don't understand what happened. What they do is they just see it and say, slut, you got what you deserve.
Yes. I literally said to my husband, and excuse my language, I said, if it was your out there, your boss would give you a high five. If my boss finds out, I'm going to get fired because I'm a woman, and we're instantly labeled.
We're going to keep talking to you. I want to add a woman to this conversation who says her ex took pictures and videos of her without her consent. After being hacked, she says they were posted on a famous non-consensual dissemination site for all to see. She said it had a similar effect on her, but you won't believe what happened to the man who victimized her. That's after the break.
Out of all of the things that ever happened, that was the lowest point for me, even more than the actual leak. I don't even know how to describe it with words, but it's just so heartbreaking.
This mom declared war on the lowlife who was once called the most hated man on the internet, and she won.
You started getting threats.
Oh yeah, I got death threats, computer viruses, and we even had a stalker at our house eventually.
I was one of the victims of the iCloud hack leak in 2014, which was essentially digital rape and trafficking of non-consensual images and videos. A few people suggested that I should kill myself, that my career and my life is over, and that I'm damaged goods now, and that no man would ever want me. My basic human rights were stolen from me, but what they were really trying to steal was my spirit. Trafficking of non-consensual images and videos of real people is a billion-dollar industry. Everyone profits from it except for the victims.
And we're talking about the posting of intimate images without a person's knowledge or consent. Now, Uldo says that she became a victim herself when a then boyfriend took pictures and videos of her without her knowledge, then sent them to her. Thanks for being here, by the way.
Thank you for having me.
He sent these to you because he was trying to get you to re-engage with him, correct?
Yeah, so basically 6 months after I already broke up with him, he sent these pictures and a video of me that he took of me without my consent and threatening to leak them to the internet. So when that happened, I just kind of like called his bluff. I didn't think it was gonna happen, and thank God he didn't. But then I was being hacked, and you know, this hacker was monitoring me and 99 other women that were all in the public eye, you know, mainly like celebrities and that kind of thing, and basically storing all of the information and all of that kind of stuff. So he had over a 2-year span collected over 100 women's private images, videos, addresses, everything that you could imagine to, you know, basically destroy their privacy.
Okay, so he had sent the images to you, and then when someone hacked into your iCloud,
yes,
he found the images that you had received.
Exactly, through iMessage, because iMessage gets also backed up into the iCloud.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he found those and put them on the internet.
Yes, so basically what he did first is that he collected a list, and it was called the iCloud hack list, and then he auctioned all of us off like we're some kind of livestock onto the internet, the dark web or whatnot. And then everybody started betting and, you know, auctioning us off. And then once they collected enough, then basically that's when everything got leaked.
What was your first reaction when you realized that those pictures, those videos were out there? What did you say to yourself?
So my phone was blowing up, and then I, you know, finally got to my phone and I looked at it and saw basically screenshots of me and my ex being intimate, and saying there's a video of you out there, and you know, we're being very intimate, so you could see everything. And it just, my heart just dropped. And I was at a shoot at the time, so I had to excuse myself. I went home and I just locked myself in and just cried for days and just kind of isolated myself after that.
Now, at this point, you were in the public eye. You did modeling. You had sponsors and brands that you were doing work for. What was their reaction?
Their reaction was, oh, we don't want to associate with your brand. You know, your brand doesn't align with us and things like that. And basically just dropping me and canceling my contracts and everything.
They didn't ask you what happened. They didn't, no explanation mattered.
Nothing.
They just said, we don't want to be aligned with somebody that's doing this.
Exactly.
Okay. Your own mom called and asked if you were now doing porn.
Yeah.
Because someone sent her the videos.
Yeah, like actually that, out of all of the things that ever happened, that was the lowest point for me, even more than the actual leak. Because my whole life, you know, I'm Iranian, and it was just, my whole life, it's been my dream to make my mom proud. So when she actually called me and was like, oh, this guy on Facebook sent me something. It's a video of you doing something. Are you doing porn now? I mean, it's just, I don't even know how to describe it with words, but it's just so heartbreaking, you know?
Caitlin, you totally get it.
100%. Every survivor that we have met, I think we've all said the same of we felt alone. We didn't know what to do, and our lives are over. And then once we started like being able to meet some people, it was like, oh my gosh, we know it happens to other people, but in that moment, you're like, my life's over. So it's good to have that support. And that's what we're trying to do, is really raise awareness to get more people to know we're here.
You know, anytime something shows up on the internet that embarrasses somebody, a tweet that goes out or something, what do they always say? Oh, I've been hacked. I've been hacked, right? That's what everybody always says. But the fact of the matter is, people do get hacked. She did get hacked, and the hacker was found. We're going to find out what happened to the hacker, and trust me, you're going to be shocked.
I have something really important to say on that. Like, I know people are very like, don't take pictures and how dare you take a video and what's wrong with you? What is wrong with loving yourself? Even if it's for yourself, there shouldn't be an issue with that. What the issue is that there needs to be stricter law.
This is a cautionary tale. It's just a warning to everyone out there, especially parents, that we need to start teaching children at very young ages about the dangers of the internet and the importance of not trusting people blindly and respecting others. What do you guys think about what you're hearing? I mean, imagine this happening to you. Some of you, it may have happened to you. Anybody have a comment or a question you want to make? Yes.
My daughter came home from school one day to tell me about one of her friends who had sent a picture to a boy in her class that she was dating, and it went all the way around the school. This was a small Catholic grade school, 8th grade. And it was so bad that the girl had to leave and go to a new school. And I told my girls, I'm like, I don't know if you're doing this. I can't stop you. You all have phones. But whatever you do, don't put your face in it. If you got to send somebody a picture, don't put your face in it. I don't know what else to say because it's crazy.
I have something really important to say on that. Like, I know people are very like, don't take pictures and how dare you take a video and what's wrong with you? What is wrong with loving yourself? What is wrong with being confident in your body? For girls in high school going through puberty and they're very confused and very like, so even if it's for yourself, there shouldn't be an issue with that. What the issue is that there needs to be stricter laws. It's not so much like, okay, a 15, 14, 13, 12-year-old boy might send something. He's a child. Why is the internet being held accountable? Why are these sites not being held accountable? Why is it on? You know what I mean? That's the issue.
Well, the issue is that technology has really outstripped morality. We're behind this.
Yeah.
These things are traceable. They are identifiable. You can find the source of these individuals. And Uldo says the FBI arrested the hacker under the Computer Fraud Abuse Act. So what happened to this person that absolutely turned your life wrong side out and upside down?
So basically they got him, and then there wasn't any revenge porn laws or anything of that sort. So they, sentenced him as a hacker. He got 1.5 years in prison and went back home to his wife and kids like nothing happened.
This is a form of very targeted cyberbullying. It's just unbelievable. So the hacker gets to go back to their wife and kids, and then you have to start rebuilding your life and explain to your mother that, no, I'm not doing porn. Now, we call this revenge porn, but it's really a misnomer. This isn't porn. Nobody's doing porn here. It's just being mislabeled and misused. We'll talk about that when we come back. And we're going to meet a woman and her mother who made it their mission to help take down one of the most notorious illegal dissemination sites of all time after one of their images were posted online. We'll add them to the conversation next.
Sorry, it's still hard to talk about sometimes. This part, I always get choked up. She said to me, I'm so sorry. You're on this website. And I was just like, what? I was like so shocked. It had my photos, it had my name, my social media, my city, how people could find me.
Kayla says she was 24 years old when nude images of her were stolen off her computer and posted online. She only found out when a coworker told her they were posted on a well-known illegal dissemination site. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've been listening to what we've been talking about here, and it's got to seem like they changed the names and the faces and are telling your story, because this is exactly what happened to you, right, Kayla?
Basically, pretty much. I was in my bedroom, just looking in the mirror, holding my cell phone, taking some private photos of myself, all of them clothed, except I naturally just decided, well, you know what, maybe one day I'd like to see what my body looks like at this age when I am older. And so I took just some topless photos and even some without my face, just purely just documenting. And then one with my face, no makeup, genuinely didn't think it was gonna go anywhere. And 3 months later, timing is everything. And I was working at my then waitressing job, and the hostess that wasn't working that night gave me a call on the restaurant phone. And so they handed the phone to me and said, it's really urgent. And I was like, okay, well, can you watch my tables for me, please? So I went out into the parking lot and, sorry, it's still hard to talk about sometimes. This part, I always get choked up. And so she said to me, I'm just so sorry. That was the first statement. I'm so sorry. You're on this website. And I was just like, what? I was like so shocked, so confused. Like I had no idea what she was talking about, because in my mind I was like, what on earth? How could I even be on this website? And she was like, it's called isanyoneup.com, and you're on page 2. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, thank you so much. And I kind of just like got off the phone. Thank you. I got off the phone with her, and I called my mom, because she's the person I always go to for everything. And I go, Mom, something happened. Are you by your computer? Like, there's a website. It's called isanyoneup.com. Just go to it. So she went onto her computer. She's like, Kayla, what is this? Like, I was like, just go to page 2. I'm on it. And it had my photos. It had one photo of me topless, and it had my name, my social media, my city, how people could find me, basically. Basically, I had to go back to work, finish my shift. I spilled like water all over a table, and I had to say, I'm so sorry, there was a death in the family, because obviously I'm not going to tell them the truth. And I had to go home and hope that my mom had tried to like somehow figure out this website and what it was all about and how we could get my photo down.
You talked to the police, and they weren't real sympathetic.
No, we walked into the police department, and it was a woman, and she said, well, why'd you take the photo in the first place? And just basically blaming me, and that I did the wrong thing and I deserved it.
Kayla says that when she found out that her pictures were online, she immediately turned to her mother for help. Now, you're going to find out what supermom really means, and what it means when your mother used to be a private investigator, and one that just doesn't know how to take no for an answer. Because she helped take down one of the most notorious illegal dissemination sites and its owner. We'll talk about that after the break.
He wouldn't remove her image. And then I also tried calling his advertisers. I called his publicist, his attorney, his ISP, and I even tried to call his mom, because I thought if anybody could do something, it would be his mom.
This mom declared war on the lowlife who was once called the most hated man on the internet, and she won.
The moral equivalent of a bedbug infestation.
Hunter Moore ran a website called Is Anyone Up? It invited guys who'd been dumped to get revenge by posting nude photos of their ex-girlfriends. Thank you for being evil, he would tell them, but he went too far when a racy, hacked photo of Charlotte Law's daughter appeared on the site.
She was in tears. She was devastated. She didn't know what to do. She was getting phone calls from strange men asking her out and saying, ooh, hey, baby.
After relentless pressure from Charlotte Laws, her daughter's photo was removed from the site. But the crusading mom wasn't done yet. She spent the next 2 years amassing evidence against the revenge porn site. The evidence was so overwhelming, Moore pleaded guilty to unauthorized access of a computer and identity theft. He was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison.
Now, you hit brick walls from the very beginning. Nobody was really motivated to do much about this.
Right. I called 9 attorneys first. They all just threw up their hands and said, don't know anything about it. And so I just knew I was going to have to do it myself. And it was hard because society was very big on victim blaming. It was before the Me Too movement. And so it was an uphill battle all the way. And I had to kind of learn what revenge porn was, figure out who the website owner was, what was going on, because he lied a lot. And so I had to kind of get around, the sides and find out what the truth was and figure out, what we could do to get that content removed.
The people that put this up have coined the term revenge porn, which is really a misnomer. It's not revenge, because if it's revenge, then that assumes that there's been some act that victimized somebody, and so they're seeking retribution for it, and that's not the case. It's not porn, because it's certainly not designed in that way when the images are created. It's certainly not entertainment, and it's not new. This kind of thing's been going on since the 1950s. There just wasn't the dissemination that there is now. When you started identifying and getting to the source, it was just stonewall lie, stonewall lie, stonewall lie.
He wouldn't remove the image, her image. And then I also tried calling his advertisers. I called his publicist, his attorney, his ISP, and I even tried to call his mom, because I thought if anybody could do something, it would be his mom. And I called her former workplace and talked to her former associates, but she didn't work there anymore. So I was kind of trying everything I could. And my daughter actually found another one of her friends was also on the site. And so she talked to her friend, and her friend said that she had been hacked. And I realized that that might be the avenue, because there's obviously a hacking scheme here, because I just heard of revenge porn. I only knew 2 people on that site, and they'd both been hacked. So I thought, okay, I need to find out if there's a hacking scheme, because that's a way to bring him down.
And you started getting threats.
Oh, yeah. I got death threats, computer viruses, and we even had a stalker at our house eventually.
Yeah, see, that's where this gets really, really dangerous. Now, there's someone that has been here before that I met. I just really admire greatly in terms of what he does and how he does it. I'm talking about James McGivney, and James created a site called bullyville.com and has made it his mission to shut down these sites and help victims get their images off the web. So, James, welcome back. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
You had actually been contacted by the site to help them with cybersecurity, right?
For advertising. I had actually never heard of isanyoneup.com. I had never heard of the website. And I remember the first time I went to it, how jarring it was. And I came from a foster home in New York City, and I saw some really horrific abuse of young women and girls. And I snapped. I mentally and intellectually snapped, and I just knew from that moment, not only was I going to take the site down, I wanted to destroy this guy's life.
So you actually bought the site from him.
It took a few months to gain his trust, and Hunter really thought I was his friend. It's called social engineering, and that's what I did. I socially engineered him, and then there were other things that he had in his server, such as the word suicide. So you would see girls would post under their image, "Please take this down, I'm going to commit suicide." And when I showed him that, there was a brief moment of civility and humanity in him. And I convinced him to, sell me the site, and I immediately forwarded it to Bullyville. So it went from a revenge porn site to an anti-bullying site, because this is bullying. This is not revenge porn. This is bullying to the nth degree. So I wanted to bully him back. And that's exactly what I did. And then he launched, thank you. All the images were deleted. All the backups he had on external drives were deleted. His bank account was hacked. Money was taken out of his bank account and donated to battered women's shelters across the United States. Death certificate was issued in the state of California in his name. We had him legally dead because the goal was to bury this guy. I wanted to bury him on the internet publicly in front of everyone to see. So other people who thought about doing a site like that would know what was going to happen.
Next, getting your pictures and videos removed from the internet and dark web completely, I mean, really getting them down, can be a long, expensive, arduous, and sometimes impossible task. So what can you do if someone posts a picture of you without your consent? We're going to talk to someone who knows after the break.
This woman was just awarded millions of dollars in a history-making lawsuit against her husband. She accused him of posting a topless photo of her online and writing horrible things about her on social media.
Elizabeth Clark was married to U.S. Army Major Adam Clark. While he was away on a training mission, she sent him a topless photo.
He was gone, so I just had something to make him excited to come home to.
But in 2018, they got divorced. The next thing she knew, this topless photo was posted on a social media chat room. Elizabeth told me a complete stranger approached her and offered to buy her a drink because he recognized her from those intimate photos on the internet. The case became North Carolina's first revenge porn lawsuit to reach a jury verdict.
Well, today we're talking about the dark side of the internet, the part where people can post your most intimate pictures, oftentimes pictures and videos you didn't even know people had taken without your consent. Now, it seems absolutely insane that it's even possible that someone would receive those pictures and then publish them without a release, without your permission, without your consent. But they do. So joining us is Samuel Dordulian. He is an attorney in Los Angeles, and he currently has several clients who have experienced this. So Samuel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So how does this play out? What's the course of events, and what's the likely outcome if a client comes in, if one of these women had come in to you and said, what can we do here?
Well, there's different ways that these kind of situations present themselves. We've heard several stories that you just presented. I had a client who just took her phone in to get repaired at a phone store, and the tech decided he was going to take a lot of the photos from her own photo. She didn't make any dissemination. She didn't intend for it to get to anybody, but they were taken. Of course, you have the typical situation with the ex or someone that they dated, and they'll get photos and start distributing it. As a former prosecutor, I always tell people the first thing you want to do is try to go to the police. But we heard even on your stage right now, it's not that easy. A lot of times the police have a hard time understanding it. You have a regular patrol officer who's never had this situation, doesn't understand, wasn't properly trained. And so the laws aren't that great. In the state of California, there is a law against it. You can't distribute these intimate photos. But just recently, there was a case where a man blew up an image, private image of a woman, posted it on his truck, and drove it up and down the street. And he's not violating the law because he's not distributing it. He's only displaying it. So now there's legislation out to add the word display to our penal code in order to make that also illegal. So it's not easy. It's not tough, but there are ways. Obviously, there is criminal laws in 48 states, as we talked about earlier. It's just being able to get people to enforce those laws. You need push them a little bit harder on it.
Yeah, and it's not in their wheelhouse, as you say. They haven't done 100 of these or 50 of these, and so they don't know where it fits or how it goes. You're working on some legislation, correct? Called Protect?
Yeah, the Protect Act. So basically it covers all of the things that we discussed, and it also covers something called deepfakes, which basically anyone can take your face and add it to a pornographic video or nude images, and people would think that it's actually you because it looks so, believable, right? It covers hidden cams, hacking, you name it, the whole revenge porn, like any and everything that you can ever imagine. It covers that. It basically boils down to consent. So I think it's very important for everybody to engage in the Protect Act and push for it, because it will help everyone, women, men, children especially.
The Protect Act is the Preventing Rampant Online Technology and Criminal Trafficking Act.
Yes, basically. So basically what happens is digital rape and digital trafficking, and this is stopping everything before it even gets bad.
And I'll have a copy of this up on drphil.com for people to look at. All right, well, next, the women are more often the victims in this crime, and sadly, men are the primary perpetrators. Parents, we need to have meaningful conversations with our girls and boys. I'm going to talk some more about that, and I have a couple of questions for James as well. We'll be right back. Well, we're back, and we're talking about what is called revenge porn. And I'm using that term not because it applies, but because that's how you can look this up and get to a lot of information about it. Look, most of the perpetrators of this are guys. You need to teach your daughters, look, you don't want to be taking pictures that you don't want to see someday on the internet. And it's not just about daughters. Parents, you need to be teaching your sons about respecting women, about respecting their rights. So, James, hypothetically, it is possible to get these images down and to motivate disseminators to be less motivated, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and you know, I think what this show is proving today more than anything is that women are stronger than men. And you see it up here because the men are the cowards, right? They're the ones who are posting it, and then it's the women who have to be strong enough to go publicly and do this, and in some cases, re-victimize themselves.
We've had women that have just talked about the fact that they just didn't feel like they could go on in life, that they could show their face. They'd been judged, they had been labeled, they had been ostracized, they had lost careers that they'd worked hard for, and that just everything had been taken away. And there are people who care. There are people who get it. That's why we're doing this show. We get it, right? Do you think I understand this? Yes. That I get the gravity of this? We've devoted an entire hour to it. So you're not alone. Don't feel like you're alone. And if it's weighing on you so heavily, there's a new suicide hotline, 988, and ask for help. Don't give your power away and take your life. I promise it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And with people like James here and Samuel that can explain these things, there are answers here. We're out of time for today. I want to thank all of my brave guests, and you are brave to be here. Thank you. I also want to thank James McGivney and Samuel Dordulian. Thank you for being here. For more information about today's episode, or if you'd like to share your story, then log on to drphil.com. And if you want to add your voice to the conversation, you know where to find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're in the Los Angeles area, or you plan to be, we'd love to have you join us here. We've got the audience up on stage now, where you're up close and personal. Just go to drphil.com, click on Be Part of the Audience for all the details. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to my podcast, Fill in the Blanks. I really try to provide critical information on some of the most important issues that we're facing today. Also listen to Robin's podcast, I've Got a Secret. She really talks to thought leaders and innovators and gets into the secrets of their success and how they got where they are. You can check it all out on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. So thank you very much. Stay safe, and we will see you next time. Hey guys.
Good job.
That really worked well, man. It's so good to see you again. Yeah. How's everything?
Great
Sammy,
to
good to meet you. Thanks
Nice
so
to
much
meet
for
you.
doing this.
Absolutely. My wife's
You
a
gave some
huge
good
fan.
info.
of yours.
Oh, well, thank you.
I absolutely love watching your show.
Well, we got some, I thought we covered some good stuff today. Those women are gutsy to come out here and do
Very
this.
gutsy. Most of them, nice to meet you, thank you. Most of them don't even come forward because they're so embarrassed that not only, they have to share those videos with me too now. And start sharing with people in my staff, so it's a great thing that you're doing.
I'm actually in the middle of taking down some of their images. I started
really?
it, yeah, because some of them have, they're on like hundreds of sites, so it takes time. I do it all for free too, I don't charge them. So it's kind of...
Philip and I watched the movie, The Most Heinous Man.
On Netflix.
Yeah, and saw how you worked with that guy.
Yes, it was amazing, yes, loved it.
Well, even those illicit images have an electronic signature on them.
Exactly, digital footprint.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you had some good one-liners on there. I can't wait to write it down. Some great ones.
I'm glad you introduced me to him. I'm going to start working with this guy.
Yeah.
He's gonna help me.
Oh, he's amazing. He's been at this for a long time.
You two are really great.
If I can do anything to help, let me know.
Oh, thank you. I think you just did.
Yeah, we'll
I
keep
think
a
you
bright
did.
light on over this. This is terrible.
Everybody has some secrets. Everybody has a past. Don't wanna be caught up on seeking how you work, 'cause all I care about is how you feel about me now. Ain't got time to play around. Just tell me what to do. Tell me how you feel. I don't wanna see no filter. Please don't waste my time. I've been way more than familiar with those type of guys that don't know what they want, falling back to square one. I've been wondering, is it really that hard just to follow your heart? Nothing's guaranteed, but I still want some certainty. I wanna believe in a future for you. Maybe nothing's guaranteed, but I still want some certainty. I wanna believe in a future for you, baby. It's hard enough to trust somebody, hard enough to trust yourself. Might be better safe than sorry. Are you seeing someone else? I'm asking 'cause my heart is still healing from the previous toxic thing. Now could you be my cure, or will I be ignored? I don't wanna see no filter. Please don't waste my time. I've been way more than familiar with those type of guys that don't know what they want, falling back to square one.